Hi, it's Tony Hammond here from Mellon's Hyundai, Northern Ireland's premier Hyundai dealer. Today we're going to do a pre-delivery presentation on the Hyundai Tucson. Okay, this is the key for the all-new Hyundai Tucson. You will see a chrome button at the top. When I push that, it releases the key blade. To fold the key blade back down again, push in the chrome button and fold the blade down. And then you'll see the button configuration. The top button there is to lock the car. The middle button is to unlock. And the bottom button is to unlock the tailgate separate from the rest of the car. Okay, now the car is unlocked. You can gain access to the boot just by putting your hand underneath where the Tucson number plate is and pushing the switch. And when we're in the boot, you'll see the boot floor here, and underneath is where your spare wheel is located. Not all Tucsons incidentally come with spare wheels. This particular model does. Just to the left-hand side of the tailgate inside trim, the privacy blind, you just pull the blind back and put it into the sockets like so, obviously just to fix it in place. If you're not using the privacy blind, just spring-loaded on either side, just release it like so. And you can remove it obviously from the car, but there is also sockets just down at the bottom of the boot floor so that you can put it into there and it's nice and snug and it's not going to be rattling around. Okay, to put fuel in the car needs to be unlocked. All you do, it's on the passenger side of the car, is just push the fuel lid like so and it will release. Unscrew the cap and then pop your cap just in there and obviously put the correct fuel in. Inside the lid you will see it will indicate what type of fuel you need to put into the car. It's very important obviously that you put the right fuel in. And then to screw it back on again, wait until you hear the first click. And then just push the cap shut. Say when the car is locked, so is the lid. Okay, the bonnet release is located down in the driver's footwell, just down here. All you do is pull that and that releases the bonnet. Okay, the bonnet catches just above the Hyundai badge. And the bonnet just lift like so, just to show you that. There's it there, okay. The bonnet stay is on the left-hand side of the engine compartment. Just up like so. Obviously make sure that's secure before you let go of the bonnet. And while we're in there, obviously we don't expect you to do any real maintenance on this car, but just to check your levels. So if you're checking any of your levels, your water or washer is located here, just at the front left-hand side of the engine compartment. If you do need water, obviously open it up and just pop your water straight into there. Incidentally, that one reservoir is for your front and your rear washers. Okay, to dip your oil or to check your oil level, I'm not going to pull it out and do this obviously at this stage, but there you'll see it's engine oil. Pull out like so. Okay, obviously wipe it and then re-dip it again and just check the level. It's between minimum and maximum. Obviously it should be closer to maximum than it should minimum. And if it does need topped up, what I would suggest obviously is come and see us. However, your oil cap is here just at the top of the engine block. This is your driver's door panel here. Just the rear switches at the bottom of the screen are for your two rear windows, obviously left and right. Above that then you have your front passenger windows, so passenger side on the left, and the driver's one there on this particular model happens to be automatic. That's auto down as well as auto up. Each individual switch you just push down to put the window down and tug up to bring the window back up again. Just above that again then is your window lock switch, so if you've got children in the back of the car and you don't want them operating the switches, push the button down flush with the panel. Okay, it means they're deactivated in the back, and when the button is raised they're all operational again. To the right of that then is your door locking mechanism. Now the Tucson, all Tucsons are fitted with anti-hijack facility, meaning that they will automatically lock when you reach a speed of 20 kilometers an hour. However, if you're letting a passenger into the car, of course they won't be able to get in unless you let them in. You hit this side of the rocker switch with the padlock unlocked to unlock the vehicle, and then before you pull away is just hit this side again to relock the vehicle so that everybody's secure inside the car. Just above that then you'll see the mirror symbol. This is to adjust the mirror glass on your driver and passenger door mirrors. Now you need to select which side that you're adjusting first. So obviously left is L and R is right. Okay, once you've selected the side, just use the circle to adjust it either in, out or up and down. Okay, then the last feature then on the driver's door panel is on this particular model, again this isn't standard on all Tucsons, is a three-way switch for your power folding mirrors. To the left hand side, this part of the switch, when you flick it on that side, That will keep your mirrors fixed out. They will not fold in at all. When you have the key in the ignition, if you flip it to the opposite side, your mirrors will fold in. So if you're going through a narrow gate opening, you can bring the mirrors in just to give you that extra assistance. And then usually though, you would leave it on the auto setting in the middle, meaning that when you lock the car, the mirrors will fold in. So again, they're not getting damaged in a busy street, or it's a good indicator that when you're walking away that you know that you've locked the car. When you unlock it, they will automatically fold back out again. Okay, just down on the right hand side of the dashboard behind the steering column is your headlamp adjuster switch. Now it's reading on 0 there at the moment. The default setting is 0. The only reason you would have to adjust that, and you adjust it down like so, is if you have anything heavy in the boot or you're towing obviously a caravan or a trailer on the back at night time. Obviously it lifts the front of the car up and it will glare the oncoming traffic. But as I say, if you're not doing any of that, just make sure that its default setting is read at 0. Okay. To the right hand side of that then you have, sorry, I beg your pardon, to the left hand side of that you have your dashboard brightness control. If the dashboard is lit up too brightly for you, say, you can just dim the display down like so, and then brighten it up again just on the plus side of the rocker switch. To the left hand side of that then is your lane departure warning system. Now this system here has an integrated camera in the windscreen, and if you're on a motorway or a long straight road, it's quite handy to have this system switched on, that if you're feeling fatigued or distracted, once you wander close to the white line, it will give you an audible bleep in the car to make you pay attention. To the left of that again then is your traction control button to disable this. Okay, you push the button, and if I even just pans up onto the dashboard a second, you will see there's now a warning light, and we'll just show that again for you. There's your traction control disabled just right in the center of the dash. So say if you do switch it off, it is very clear. Incidentally, when the warning light goes off, there is a warning light just up on the top of the dashboard there. You'll see that just there. That's it. Okay. And if I just go back to the lane departure warning system, the light on this particular model comes down just here. So that's the lane departure off, or sorry, I beg your pardon, on and back off again like so. To the right hand side of the steering column is your wiper stock. You see again on this particular model, it happens to have an auto setting. First off though, before I show the auto, if you just push down on the stock, it will wipe your front windscreen once. Okay, so if you've maybe had a dew on the windscreen overnight, you can just wipe it and then it will automatically switch the system back off again. The first setting up on this particular model says automatic, and then to the right hand side there you'll see this wee toggle switch. So when I turn that, what effectively that is doing is adjusting the sensitivity of the rain sensor on the windscreen, and when you twist it up towards the top of the stock, it will allow less water, and as you twist it down, it will allow more water under the windscreen before it actually wipes. Effectively that replaces your intermittent. Up again from that then is constant wipe. So if you want to bypass the auto, you can have it on constant wipe from the first setting up from auto. And then the number 2 setting above that is fast. So if it's a heavy shower, you can pop it on that and it will wipe quite quickly. Okay. Now, just putting it back into the off position, to squirt the front window, just pull the stock towards you. Okay, obviously the more you hold it, the more water will come out. To squirt the back window, you just push the stock away from you, and again that will do the same. And then to turn the back wiper on, just twist the end of the stock to number 1, which is the intermittent setting, and twist it again to number 2, which is constant wipe. Okay, now onto the steering wheel. On the right hand side of the steering wheel, just at the top right hand side, there is your cruise control button, and if you push this button, there's a green indicator comes up onto the dashboard to let you know that the system has been switched on. Now obviously that's not the cruise control set at that stage, but you'll see just below that switch is an RAS plus and a set minus. To set the cruise control, when the green indicator is on the dash, all you do when you get to your desired speed is flick down on that set button, and the set indicator will come up onto the dashboard display to let you know that it's been set. Take your foot off the pedal and the car will travel at the speed that you've just set. Okay. Now, if for instance you've gone from a 60 mph limit and the cruise control has been set at 60 and you want to increase the speed to 70 without having to reset everything, all you need to do is hold up on the plus and watch the speed will obviously increase to your desired speed, and when you let go of the switch it will stop increasing. The same rule applies when you want to reduce your speed, say from 70 to 60, is hold down on the minus at this stage and it will reduce the speed on the speedo until you let go of the switch. When you let go, it stops. Just below that again then is your mode button. So when you hit the mode button, it will change from cruise control to speed limiter. This will then allow you to set the maximum speed that the car will travel up to but not above. The only time that doesn't apply, however, is if the car is traveling downhill because gravity takes over. But if I push this button now, hopefully Ivan may well be able to focus in on this, on the dash just at the top, and where the minus and plus switch is. If I hit the minus now, you'll see it comes up as 20 mph limit just at the top in the center of the display. And if I left it at that, this car would not travel above that speed no matter how hard I press the accelerator pedal, except, as I say, whenever you're going downhill. Hit the mode button again, will take you back to cruise, or if you just want to switch the system off again, just hit the cruise control on and off button. Okay. To the left hand side on the bottom then is an OK button. Just above that is a toggle switch for reading through your menus, and then above that again is your settings menu. Okay, now this is actually quite hard to show on the display whilst I'm showing you how these buttons are being used, but we will try. So if I hit the settings button here now, and we'll work our way through to the settings. If I even can focus in on that, there we are, perfect. So I've hit the settings button, which is the top left hand side on the right hand side of the steering wheel. And if I just scroll through using the toggle switch, you'll see we can select each individual one like so. If I hit the OK button, that will then select the driving assist menu. And from there, you've got an option to go back, the lane keep assist button, and then the speed limit information. So if you go to the lane keep assist and hit OK, you have the option of turning on the lane departure system. So you've got a button to be able to do that on the steering wheel as well as a button on the dashboard. You've got the standard lane keep assist, which would normally be set for you for handover. And then you've got the active one. Now the active one is the one which will effectively assist you with steering as you're driving down a motorway. So it will sort of adjust the wheel in your hand just to keep you in the center of the lane. Incidentally, you can only put that system on whenever you're sitting parked. The system cannot be turned on whilst driving. If we scroll back up again and go back out of that, below that then you've got your speed limit information. Now if I just try and point at that on the dashboard, that is this part here on the dash, and when you're in on the road, if you're in a 30 mph limit, that will not read 3 dashes as it is now because the car is in the showroom. It will be reading 30 miles an hour. So you'll know if you're above 30 miles an hour that you're breaking the speed limit, so you know to slow down. If we go back up again, down to the door menu then, you can adjust how the door locking mechanism works. Now we set it for 20 kilometers an hour, but if you want to, you can go in and disable the system altogether just by scrolling down and hitting the OK button again. But again, for safety, we think it's best that you leave that on. And we go back out again. Onto your lights menu then. So again, hitting the OK button, you've got the one touch turn indicator, and all Hyundais they are set for 3 indicators, just like so. But you can actually go in and change, so you can switch the system off, have the 3 as its default setting, 5 or 7. And if I change that to 5, just to show you here, that will change the amount of times 4 and 5. So that's the amount of times obviously the indicator will flash, and we'll just put it back to 3. Going out of that again then, we've got your headlamp delay function. So this is known as a follow me home function. Again, it can be switched off. When the car is unlocked, if it's nighttime and the lights have been set for auto, the headlights will automatically come on to give you a bit of added security and also be able to identify your car maybe in a busy car park. But you can switch the system off like so, or back on again just by hitting the OK button again. If we go back, hit the OK, we've then got the option of sound. So this car is fitted with parking sensors. Parking assist system volume can be adjusted like so. And then the welcome sound. Tucson's are fitted with a jingle. Effectively, when you unlock the car, you'll get quite a nice welcome noise or nice welcome jingle. But again, if you don't want to hear that, you can just switch it off, and that'll be it off permanently. And then hitting the OK button switches it back on, back out again. And then the other features then, to be fair, these you probably won't be doing too much with, but you can go in and change how the fuel economy auto reset works. So you can switch it off as it is at the moment. You can have it set on that every time you turn the ignition on, it will reset the fuel economy to give you a figure for that journey. Or you can have it set that it will only reset whenever you put more fuel in the car. System at the moment has been switched off. Hit the OK button, takes us back. The steering position, now this is a handy feature to have on if you've got it fitted to the Tucson. It's off at the moment, but if I hit this button here, it just means if you've parked the car in a rush, and your steering wheel isn't aligned, the next time you turn the car on, in the middle of the display it will tell you which way to turn the steering wheel to realign your wheels so that they're straight, just in case you end up veering in towards the curb and damaging an alloy wheel. We'll leave that on now actually because it's a good feature. Below that then you've got your auto rear wipe. Now this car's fitted with this feature, so if for instance it's raining and you have your front wipers on, as soon as you engage reverse gear, it will automatically switch on the rear wiper for you. But again, you've got the option if you want to turn that feature off just by hitting the OK button, and that's it off again, but we'll put that back on because it is a good feature. And then just units then, so we can change the units. So we've got UK gallons, but if you were in America, you can change it. We'll go below that then, you've got your temperature settings. And again, it's set for centigrade. Tire pressure unit, again, it should be PSI as it is. And that's it. Okay, just this is the center screen again once you've been set all your users settings. At the top here, just where my finger is your distance to empty. So you'll see there at the moment this is reading 42 miles distance to empty. Just below that where the 3 dashes and MPG is, that is your average fuel economy. And then just below that you'll see the scale there reading from 0 to 50 is your instant fuel economy. If I hit the toggle switch here, that will move down to the next menu, and that's giving you your trip A, which is reading 0 at the moment. To reset that, incidentally, all you do is hold down the OK button, which you'll see on the screen there. It says hold OK to reset. Below that then is average speed of last journey and time elapsed since last set time. Again, they're all reset using that OK switch. Scroll down again then, we've got trip B, which is reading 20.7 miles. Average speed of last journey wasn't fast, it's 11 miles an hour. And the time elapsed since last set time is reading 1 hour and 48 minutes. Again, just to show you, if I hold in the OK button, everything resets back to 0. And then the last one then is your large digital speedo, which is handy to be on that screen, because if you just look at the bottom there again with the speed indicator, if the road sign is 30 miles an hour and you're doing 35, then you'll know quite easily that, say, you're above the speed limit. So say you can reduce the speed just quite quickly by doing that. Okay. Okay, your horn is located in the center of the steering hub. Just press it like so. So just on the left hand side of the steering wheel then you've got your audio function. So the top left hand side here is your mute button. So if the radio's on, you want to talk to somebody in the back, you can't hear them, just press this button and that will automatically mute the sound. Press it again, unmutes it. To the right hand side of that then is your media button. So if you're listening to the radio and you want to, say you've got an iPod or MP3 connected in through the USB, press this button here and that will take you directly from the radio onto the iPod or MP3 player. Hit it again, will take you back to your radio. Just to the below that on the left hand side then is your volume rocker switch. So push up to increase the volume, push down to decrease the volume, and then over here just to the right hand side of that then is a toggle switch to skip through your radio stations. Now on the day of handover we will tune your radio to whichever stations you listen to, but once we've done that, if you want to skip up to say channel 2, flick up like so, channel 3, channel 4, and then down like so. Okay, and then below that, and again on the day of handover, if you bring your mobile phone with you and it's Bluetooth enabled, we'll be able to connect your mobile phone to your new car. The green button incidentally is to accept a call, and then the red one is either to reject one if you don't want to speak to somebody, or if you're at the end of a conversation and want to hang up, and both buttons you just press. Okay, to the left hand side then of the steering column is your light stock. You'll see again on this particular model it happens to have an auto setting as well. So if I twist it to the first setting, is automatic. So as I said, there's a light sensor on this car, and when it's sufficiently dark, the lights will automatically come on themselves, and when the light gets better, they will automatically switch off themselves. It's a good setting if you have it on the car, just to leave it there and forget about your lights altogether. However, if you want to bypass that, just twist the stock again to the first setting, which is your side light, and then twist it again to your headlight function. To turn on your full beam, just push the stock forward, and on Tucson you'll see when I let go it flicks back. However, that is the full beam on. To turn the full beam off, just pull it back towards you, and that switches off the full beam, but this also facilitates your flasher. So say if you're flashing somebody out of a junction, just pull it like so. To turn the indicators on then, just push the stock up to the top, and that's your right hand indicator. Push it down for the left hand indicator, and then back into the neutral position. To turn on your fog lights then, twist forward to turn on the front ones. To turn the front ones off again, twist forward. You'll see it springs back. To turn on the rear, twist back to turn on the rear. And then again to turn the rear off, just twist it again, and that's then back off. One other feature just on Tucson that obviously you can't see whilst, unless it's nighttime and you're driving the car, is it has a static cornering light facility. So when you're on your headlight and you're turning the steering wheel 60 degrees to the right, you will get an extra wide beam to see you around the corner. Turn it to the left, you'll get a beam to the left hand side again. It'll just widen that beam on the left just to give you a bit more illumination, as I say, in darker, dimmer roads. Okay, your steering column adjuster is just to the left hand side of the steering column, just below the indicator and light stalk. Pull the lever down like so, and then from there you can adjust the steering column on a Tucson. It's adjustable reach and rake, so push in, tug out and so forth like so. Set it where you wish. Now it's also adjustable for height. Just pull the steering wheel down, pull it back up again, and then once you're happy where it's set, just push the adjuster stalk back in again. It is quite stiff, but you'd expect it to be, obviously, because it is secure in the steering column. Okay, so we're focusing now on the infotainment system in this car. This particular model is fitted with satellite navigation, but we'll start just with the audio. So just to the left hand side of the screen there is your power button. So push this button and the display will illuminate and the radio will automatically come on. Okay, while we're in there, just to show you the volume switch, up and down like so, and then power back off again like so, but we'll turn it back on because we'll go through these features. So just turn the volume down. So at the moment, you'll see at the top left hand side is your DAB. So we're on digital radio. This car is equipped with digital radio as well as analog. However, you probably will listen to digital because you have a lot more choice. On this particular model, you would have between 60 and 70 radio stations. But if you did want to go on the analog, just hit the radio button and then select FM or AM like so. But we'll go back to digital. Your radio station list are on the bottom left hand button, and from there you'll see we've got a list of 14 pages of radio stations. So you have tons of choice. Now to select a station, all you do is just, once you've found the desired one, is just push the button and that will automatically select the radio station of your choice. To set that radio station, and again we will set this for you though on your handover, but just to set it you just go back. We want to go into presets and we want to add, and there's KISS FM has now been added to number 3. Okay, to bin a station, just while we're in there, you've got a wee bin indicator, so hit the bin button and you've got the option to individually select ones, or if you want to get rid of them all, just hit the bin button, or would you like to delete? Yes. And then you'll see now we have no preset radio stations. Okay, if I just go back out of that, then we go on to the media button, which is just to the right hand side then of the radio. So hitting the media button now, at the moment you'll see it says no device available. You connect your device in through a USB port, which is just down, if I even could pan down to where my finger is, a USB port there just down at the bottom of the transmission tunnel. Put your MP3 in there, and once you hit this media button it will automatically take you straight to your iPod or your MP3. To the right hand side then of those, you have an arrow up and an arrow down. So if you have radio stations on and you want to skip through them, you have a toggle switch on the steering column which we've already focused on. However, if you want to reach across, you can skip up through radio stations like so using the arrow up, or go down to previous stations with the arrow down. To the right hand side of that then you have your map button, and if I select that now, the screen obviously changes to the map. I'll just focus the contrast, that's good, yep. So while we're in there, this is effectively just your map. If I go to the top, you'll see we've got a 3D view. You can select it to a 2D view, zoomed in, and then back out to 3D again. We can adjust the navigation volume. At the moment it's set on 20. If I just select to increase,
guidance will be at this volume.
If it's too high,
guidance will be at this volume.
Just reduce it down like so. But effectively all this screen here is your map screen. More importantly, to the right hand side of that then is your navigation screen. So push this button, and then from there you have options of address, previous destination, local or near Hyundai dealers, points of interest. You can go on guided tours or resume guidance if you've got a guidance address already put in. But if we go in just to the address one here, hit address, and you'll see that we're already United Kingdom. But if I hit United Kingdom, we can select elsewhere. So say for argument's sake you were traveling in the south, just like so. But we'll go back for the purpose of this, just go back into the UK. So back to United Kingdom, and pop in your city, your postcode. Postcode obviously is better. So we'll just select ours, so BT20 5DN, and the address, 40 Bingham Street. And hit start. You've got the option of start, save, show map, or options. Okay, so we hit the start button and it will calculate the route. And now on the Tucson, you'll see down the right hand side of the screen, you've got fastest, shortest, and most economical. Well, we're already here, so there's only one route to the place. But if, for instance, you didn't want to go fastest, you want to go shortest, just hit the shortest. You want to go the most economical one. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just taking me out of that. Hit economical like so, and if you're happy with that, just hit done.
Starting route guidance.
And this will take you there, but we're already here. Now obviously we know where we are, so if we hit the navigation button again and just hit stop guidance, that takes it off. The other thing that you'll definitely use in here will be your points of interest, POI. So if I hit the POI, any near position, so if you're in, say, Bangor, Wales, rather than Bangor County Down, just hit nearby, and then you've got an option of all different types of categories. So you've got restaurants, petrol stations if you're running low on fuel, somewhere to stay overnight, travel, Hyundai service stations, parking, and so forth. So if, for instance, we pick restaurants, within the restaurant menu then you can select certain types of food. So say you wanted a Chinese restaurant. We have 34 pages of Chinese restaurants, all local. Crikey, my goodness. And say for argument's sake somebody said Sun Island was nice, just select Sun Island, and then from there we can set the destination just by hitting the start button. And you'll see from there we've got a slightly different route for the most economical. The most economical one you'll see is actually slightly longer than the other two, but that will try and eliminate traffic stops, lights, roundabouts, junctions, that sort of thing. And then if you're happy with the fastest, as most people would be, just hit
Starting
done,
route guidance.
and that will take you straight to the doorstep. Okay, so just go back into that again and we'll stop guidance. Phone menu is down here. If I hit this, you'll see that there is no phone paired. It's saying connected to device or connecting to device. Of course it's not. We will do this for you on the day of handover, so we will cancel that at this stage and show you that when you're down to pick up your new car. To the right of that again, then you've got like a half moon. This is your dark button. So if I push this button here, that turns the display off. Now if I just turn the radio on or the volume up, you'll see it'll still play, but you lose the display. And then just hit the moon button again, or the dark button, and the radio goes back on, or the screen goes back on. Behind here it says SD map. Obviously it's important that you keep that in. There's an SD card in there with all your mapping in it, so it's just important you keep that in there. This button here, probably won't use it so often, but this one here, you'll see it brings up traffic, current position, satellite, live points of interest, and weather. This is reliant on a Wi-Fi signal. Okay, now if I just select the weather, for instance, you'll see that there's no Wi-Fi connection, and it will give you the option to connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot. But I would suggest that you do not use your own phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot unless you have genuine unlimited data through your service provider. Okay, but if you were going to use it, you just hit search for Wi-Fi and obviously have your Wi-Fi turned on your phone. Once it connects, it'll be able to tell you obviously if there's any adverse weather or if there's any adverse traffic in the area as well. But for the purpose of this, we'll just switch that off. Then to the right hand side of that then is your settings menu button. So in here we can start adjusting things like the display. So the brightness, if it's too bright, we can dim this display individually down and back up again like so. We can set how it works at nighttime, because at nighttime when the auto lights come on, this will automatically dim the display as well. And just back out like so. On this dimming mode, we've got the option of auto, daylight, and nighttime. The auto one means that when it does get dark, that the display will automatically change on the map to this screen. Okay, just for the purpose of the demonstration, just to show you that, but we'll just go back to the auto again and show you that map screen again is back to bright. Wi-Fi settings, say you can go into that. Then the system settings, you can change the language, the clock, the units that are used on the satellite navigation screen, the Bluetooth for pairing your phones, but I say we'll do that with you on the day of handover. The navigation, again how the map is viewed, like so, the sound, and then you can balance exactly where you want the sound to go to. I can just hit the reset button, that will center everything back to normal again. And if you want to adjust, say, the middle, highlight middle, add more middle like so, or reset it. If you want to add bass, or reset it like so. Okay, that's back to that screen. But if you want to, you've got shortcut buttons, so if you want to just go back to the menu or radio button or the map button, for instance, just hit one or the other and that'll take you back to that screen. Gear here. Okay, now how to do that is there is a trigger just underneath the gear selector, and then it's pull the trigger up, and it's across to the left hand side and straight up. And if I even pans up now, you'll see there is the camera. Okay, if I can just turn the wheel, adjust the wheel slightly, you'll see that the guidelines adjust as we turn the steering wheel. Now the idea of the blue indicator behind on that grid is that that wheel is indicating, the screen is indicating now that the steering wheel is not aligned. And if you got out of the car, of course, the steering isn't, the steering wheels themselves aren't aligned. So what you want to do is, once you've parked the car, is make sure that that blue line has now disappeared, and then you can obviously safely turn the car off. And if I take it back out of reverse, you'll see it goes back to the normal screen. And now we're going to focus on the dual zone climate control. But before I show you that, just at the top of the screen for the dual zone climate control is your hazard lights. So if I just push this button, obviously that switches your hazard lights on, and the hazard light indicator flashes. And then turn it back off again, just push the same switch. Okay, now you'll see here that this is a dual zone climate display. So you've got a temperature setting on one side, and again another dial on the opposite side, on the passenger side. So if you and a passenger inside the car aren't in agreement with the temperature inside, you can differentiate each side of the vehicle. So just to show you, at the moment the screen is off. If I just hit the fan speed button, turns the screen on, and you'll see at the moment we have 19 degrees coming out on the driver's side of the car and 18 degrees on the passenger side. I can adjust the passenger side independently from the driver's, just like so. But if, for instance, you wanted to go back to the driver's setting, which is 19 at the moment, all you need to do is push the sync button. The sync light will come on, and it will automatically then revert the passenger side to the same temperature setting as the driver's side. So then down to the switches, then we've got off. Obviously self-explanatory, just switches the system off. Now to show you the air conditioner, I'll need to turn it back on. Just hit the fan speed button to switch it back on. The sync button is lit again because we're 19 degrees on both sides. But if I want the air conditioner on, I just select it like so. By pushing the button, you'll get a display, comes up onto the screen, as well as the light just beside the AC switch. And it's on and off like so. Then you have a small fan blade and a large fan blade. Obviously the larger one will increase the fan, like so, and the smaller one will decrease it. Now when you get to the bottom one, it doesn't switch it off. Remember, you need to revert back to the off switch to switch the system back off. Then to the right hand side of the fan blades, you have directions of air. So you've got upper vent, face vent, and then feet vent. And quite unique in most of its competitors is that the Tucson will allow you to select all three if you wish, or a combination, just by either selecting them like so and deselecting them obviously like so. Okay, down to the left hand side then of the buttons, we have a heated seat switch. Again, this is not standard on all Tucsons, but it's fitted on this model. Hit the button once, it will give you 3 lights, and that is a high heat. Hit it again, will give you a medium heat. Hit it again, will give you a low heat, and then hit it one last time, will turn the heated seat off. I'll just focus on the the driver's side one as well. It works exactly the same way. So high, medium, low, and off like so. Okay. Over here then again, we've got our front windscreen quick clear. Now when I select this feature here, just to point this out, 2 things will happen. As soon as you select windscreen, it will automatically increase the fan speed up to full, and it will automatically switch on the air conditioning. But just to demonstrate that, I'll do it now. And you'll see it automatically does that. Now, if you still want windscreen but don't want the AC, just push the button. If you don't want full fan, just reduce it like so. Okay, but we're still on windscreen. We've lost the AC and we've reduced the fan down. But just be aware, every time that you select that, it will automatically revert back to full fan speed and air conditioning. Then to the right hand side of that as well, you've got your rear window demister. Incidentally, that is linked to your rear window or rear passenger door mirrors. So if you've got the rear window demister on, it will also heat the mirror glass on your door mirrors as well. Then we've got the option of selecting where the air comes from and to. So we've got circulating air inside, and then we've got fresh air. And obviously most of the time you're going to want fresh air coming into the car. Very rarely will you want to circulate the air that's already inside the car, but you just do it like so. Okay, and we'll just switch this off at this stage, like so. Down here then we have our power outlets. So we've got two 12-volt power outlets on either side of the transmission tunnel, just below the climate control system. Just tug them open like so, and you can pop in maybe for phone chargers, or again travel items, stuff that you want to maybe power up in the car, games consoles, that sort of thing. And in between that, we did focus on it earlier, is your auxiliary point, 3.5mm auxiliary jack point, and your USB for MP3 or flash drives. Okay, if we just pan then just over here onto the transmission tunnel itself, you've got a mode button with a steering wheel above it, and that's your steering mode button. So if I select this now, if I even can pan up, you'll see up on the dashboard there we have a normal mode. I'll just hit it again. So we've got normal mode, and then we've got sports mode. So this car is equipped with this flex steer system. So when you're in the sports mode, it will give you less assistance, so the wheel will feel a wee bit heavier in the hand. It isn't heavy, but it just gives you that bit more assistance, to say it feels a bit more planted on the road. Or if you're parking in a tight space, select the normal mode, and that will give you added assistance as you're parking in a tight space. Okay, then below that on the transmission tunnel again is your hill descent button. Now if Ivan just wants to stay here at this stage, if I select this button, up on the dashboard there will be a green indicator that comes up just beside the 140 mile an hour mark. Now you may own this car for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, you may never need this feature. However, there may be a scenario where you will need it. So say you find yourself in a muddy field and you're trying to come down a hill, select the hill descent, put the car into a low gear, and then keep your feet away from the pedals. And as the car slowly makes its way down the hill, you will hear groaning and you will hear creaking, because it's holding the brake pad, and you can slowly and safely make your way down the hill without having to grab at the brake and brake too sharply. But just be aware, as I say, that there will be a noise as you use that feature. And just to turn it off, you hit the same button again, and the green indicator will go off on the dashboard. And then just behind that again, then we have the P button. And again, this particular model is the Tucson Sport, which is equipped with front and rear parking sensors. So when you select reverse gear, the car will effectively go into park mode, and this light will light up. So you don't need to turn it on, and it will switch on the front and rear parking sensors. However, if you are parking, driving into a space, the car obviously will not know that you're necessarily driving into a space, so it's important that you remember to switch this button on if you're driving in towards say a brick wall or a bollard at a shopping centre. Just remember to hit that button, otherwise the sensors at the front will not go off. And then just to turn them back off again, just push this button here. Okay, up on the head cloth here then we have a sunglasses holder. Opens like so and closes like so. We have our courtesy lights. So we'll see there's a three-way switch here. On the right hand side you can switch them off all together. On the center switch is your door courtesy lights. So leaving it there means when you open the door and you close the door, obviously the lights will come on and off automatically. And then if you want all the lights on, you just hit it onto the left hand side, and you'll get your lights on at the front of the head cloth as well as at the back of the head cloth on this particular model. If you want to use each individual one as a map reading light, you just push them like so. Okay, and then over to the left hand side, obviously the driver's side has exactly the same, is your sun visor, which on Tucson model happens to be extendable, so you can obviously reach that down onto the passenger window so that it's going to block any sun that's going to come in through the side window. You have your vanity mirror as well as a vanity light, which turns on like so and off like so. However, if you do forget to turn it off, when you shut your sun visor, it will automatically switch off the vanity light. Okay, that completes our pre-delivery video presentation of the all-new Hyundai Tucson. Next time we'll see you'll be down to collect your new car, and I look forward to seeing you when you're in.